series of the importance of play will be broken up into 3 parts. The first one will be the importance of play. The second will be the science of play. What have the studies shown and what does it do to the body and brain, and how do children learn through play? The third video, part 3, will be breaking down the different areas of play and what the child can learn from that version of play. So welcome to the first part of the 3-part series of the importance of play, and this is part 1. I hope you enjoy. Good day everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylin and this is Foundation First. If you are new here, welcome. Foundation First is a place where it's education about education. We want to create a community of people who love learning, for people who want to engage in an educational space and to learn more about teaching, education, and why it is the way it is. So whether you are a teacher, a parent, somebody else in the educational space, or just somebody who would like to learn more about education as a whole and why it is the way it is, then welcome. So today we're going to be talking about the importance of play and why it's so misunderstood and why it's not taken for exactly what it is. To quote some of the people that I have gone past in the last couple of years is, the only thing that they do in preschool is play. Now the problem with that is, I can hear in the tone that that person is saying, is that their understanding of what play is and the importance of it in an early childhood space is completely misunderstood. Now, it's not just play. Play is something that is an integral part of child's foundation and an integral part of their learning. If you take play away from children, then you're literally taking away the way that children learn. Now that is an unfortunate reality, that people misunderstand the importance of play and why children need to play. Unfortunately, it's seen a lot as something we do to relax, something we do that is a treat, something we do that is seen as relaxation after we've done the important stuff like the proper work, something that is earned. Maybe as adults, we use play as something to relax. Whether that's correct or not is up to debate, but right now we're talking about early childhood development and early childhood education. Unfortunately, year after year, schools are taking away, slowly but surely, play experiences away from young children. And no matter how old a child gets, play is something that is part of their life, and the younger a child is, the most important play is to that child. So I'm going to give you an example of how I'd like you to think of play. The best way to think of something is something that's relatable, an example that we can relate to in our own lives. If you get something new, like a new device, or a camera, or a version of a machine that you've never used before, let's think about the way in which you figure that out. So some of us will open up the instruction booklet and we'll follow the instructions one by one and see how it goes. Many of us, on the other hand, will toss away the instruction booklet. It's okay, I'm just going to play around with it. Now, when we say I'm just going to play around with it, is it something that we're just going to fiddle with just because I'm relaxing? Or are we using it as a way to learn how something works? And I don't know about you, but to me, it's the latter. Now, when we are just playing with it to figure it out, we are experimenting, we are investigating, we are questioning what we are doing. We try things out, we push buttons, we question, and we apply knowledge from previous experiences. So if you have had the opportunity to work with something similar, you use past experiences and apply it to what you are doing at this moment. You push buttons, you turn, you may shake, you may press. Eventually it turns on. What's the next step? How else does it work? And eventually you figure it out. While playing with it, you are learning how it works. And that's how I want you to think of play for young children. Play is a way of investigating. It's exploring. It's testing, trying. It's taking past experiences and applying it to this experience that they're gaining now. Play is a way of finding out about the world around children, and providing children with adequate and intentional means of play is the best way to encourage them to learn to their best abilities. In the educational space, especially in early childhood development, we want to develop the whole child. We as people are not just one thing, we are multifaceted. So we want to develop every bit of ourselves. And we are not just one thing. We are not just the academic side, we are many things. And it is important for our longevity and our lifelong learning experience to build up on that scaffolding experience to best equip us for the years that come ahead. Now, unfortunately, the more that we take play away, the more we are depriving children to their right to play. Now, it's not only intentionally taken away by people who misunderstand. Unfortunately, the world is getting bigger, people are getting fearful, and less opportunities for children to play. Parents don't understand what it means for children to play. They buy toys and give them experiences they don't quite understand. And they also have a lot more screen time because parents don't know any other way. And this is part of why I want to make this channel, to really help others understand the benefits of play and provide children with opportunities to develop their whole being. Children don't need to be taught how to play. It is something that happens innately. It is something that they are born with. Therefore, it should show that it is something that children need to do. They don't need to be taught how to do it. They don't need to be shown how to do it. They just need to be provided with opportunities and different objects, and it will happen. Unfortunately, play is something that can be unlearned. And the only way that play is unlearned is through adult intervention or adult interruption. And the reason why I say adult interruption is because it's not a positive thing. When adults intervene and interrupt children's learning, it means they deprive them of opportunities to play and learn, and therefore develop. Now, we can't blame adults and we can't blame parents for doing this because often it's unintentionally. Often parents don't understand the benefit and necessity for children to play. They also don't know how to provide them with safe and adequate opportunities to play. Very often parents live in very small spaces and they can't look after their children the way that maybe a lot of you had the opportunities when you were younger, or somebody like me who lived in a more privileged environment. This is often something you see when children are surrounded by screens. This is covering cell phones, tablets, and television, and they don't get other opportunities to move and play. Learning something on a device, on a flat screen, is very inadequate compared to learning it through play and in a 3D context. Children, especially young children, live in a concrete world. Their experiences are literally what they can touch, feel, and experience through their senses. When you see something on a flat screen, it's a 2D experience, and it's not an adequate way for children to learn. So very often when you see these preschool games, it doesn't mean that they can't learn anything from it. Very often these apps are not developed by preschool professionals, and they have a lot of misconceptions and they're not done in best practice. So when thinking about downloading an educational app, really consider what you're downloading and where it's coming from. If you need more help on what to look out for, you've come to the right place. Foundation First is a place that you'll find out best practice and what to really look out for when looking for educational experiences to provide children with, and apps and toys for your children to gain experience from. So stay tuned for videos to come in the future. So the unfortunate reality is that if children are unlearned how to play, this isn't something that can just be relearned without intervention. The only time a child is taught how to play is when it is unlearned and needs to be taught by a professional. This isn't something that can necessarily be taught by somebody who doesn't know, as they don't know exactly what to look out for or where their weaknesses are and why the children aren't playing from the get-go. Parents and guardians need to be guided into how to best help their children learn how to play, and this is how we really help children develop in their holistic manner. Now that is it for my part 1 of the 3-part series of the importance of play. If you have any questions or anything to comment down below, and I'll be sure to interact down there with you. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe and like this video, and it will help with the algorithm and that people have interest in my videos. And if you haven't yet, follow me on Instagram at Foundation First Mrs. H. Thank you once again for joining me here at Foundation First, and I'll see you in my next one. Remember, Foundation First is key, and always remember the intentions of what you are doing.